I'll be at the SBJ Tech Awards and Tech Week in New York City this week, then off to the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference on Friday. I hope to see many of you on the road. Also, a programming alert: the early reviews of the 9-part HBO docuseries Celtics City, very positive, and the series begins tonight, Monday, on HBO, and available on Max. New episodes every week through April 28th. This series is directed by Lauren Stowell, and it has Bill Simmons, Connor Schell, Aaron Cohen, Libby Geis, Wick Grosbeck, and Rich Gotham, all as executive producers. This is not just for Celtics lovers. Reviews suggest it is an excellent docuseries about a team's place in culture and history, and surprisingly, everyone seems to agree that the stoic Robert Parrish is one of the best interviews of the documentary and almost steals the show. I look forward to Celtics City. And this is your Morning Buzzcast for Monday, March 3rd. Good morning. I'm Abe Madcore. Hope you're all doing well. Here's one fact we cannot deny. The NHL is really good at big event productions, and it shows what a talent NHL President of Events Steve Mayer is. The NHL does these outdoor games in such grand fashion. I also felt the Four Nations Face-Off had a real high-quality production to it. This past weekend, the Stadium Series, again, totally delivered at Ohio Stadium as the Blue Jackets and Red Wings played before more than 94,000 people. That's the second largest NHL audience ever, only behind the 105,000 that were at Michigan Stadium in 2014. Saturday night, the game looked great on TV. And again, the NHL was able to tie the game to key hockey moments and hockey people, as the league strategically put the key figure of the late Johnny Gaudreau, who played in Columbus, front and center throughout the event. It was a theme throughout Saturday night. Blue Jackets players all dressed up like Gaudreau. They were led into the venue by his family. Red Wings players wore different Gaudreau jerseys from his previous team. So the presence of the late hockey player was felt throughout the evening. And again, just a really classy and touching tribute, and another successful big spectacle delivered by the NHL. Meanwhile, I found this report interesting, as about 19 NHL agents were polled in a survey by The Athletic, and they were asked about what's holding back the NHL from future growth. And most of them cited marketing. And most agents cited the NHL's challenges when it comes to selling the game, its star players, bringing in new audiences, and growing revenue. Meanwhile, looking ahead to the next CBA negotiations, most of the agents focused on how to increase revenue and how it will be divided between owners and players. But overall, agents were hopeful the next round of negotiations will be far more amicable than we've seen in the past. And I think a lot of that is due to the positive relationship between Gary Bettman and NHLPA Executive Director Marty Walsh. But that's an interesting takeaway from a survey of agents in The Athletic. Let's move on. What has gotten into Bill Belichick? A lot of interesting decisions by Belichick in his post-Patriot days, and here is another surprising one. Agreeing to do Hard Knocks? Well, yes, late last week, it was reported that HBO's Hard Knocks will feature Belichick as he takes over North Carolina's football program. The decision comes after NFL Films reportedly could not find an NFL team to feature this upcoming season. So there's a lot here. It's so surprising because it's hard to think of a coach less willing to do this show than the irascible Belichick. Details of filming have not been released, but on Friday, University of North Carolina football GM Mike Lombardi, a close associate of Belichick, acknowledged they are considering a behind-the-scenes look at the team but he said he didn't believe anything was formalized, official, or signed. Meanwhile, Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio feels agreeing to do Hard Knocks is another effort by Belichick to show that he is ready to return to the NFL. Florio reported that Belichick aggressively pursued the Hard Knocks role, believing it would be great exposure for him and the program. We know that Belichick has great respect for NFL films. That's noted. But Florio reported some NFL owners aren't thrilled with the decision to feature Bill Belichick on an NFL-owned platform like Hard Knocks. Bill Belichick hasn't played well in the sandbox over the years, and he hasn't done a lot to endear himself to NFL owners or officials or league executives. He's never been shy about criticizing the NFL. So owners may be looking at this and wondering what's in it for the NFL and why should Belichick get so much love on an NFL platform like Hard Knocks. This is a fun story to keep your eye on. One thing about NCAA under President Charlie Baker, the association is better about generating revenue. The NCAA recorded nearly $1.4 billion in revenue for its fiscal year 2024. It marks the association's best overall revenue in at least 20 years. It's an increase of more than $90 million over 2023. Meanwhile, sticking with revenue, Big 12 presidents and athletic directors reviewed bids from 3 finalists in the conference's pursuit of a capital partner, and these firms are proposing to invest millions of dollars to schools in the Big 12. Redbird Capital has emerged as the leader. A decision is expected in the upcoming weeks. We know that Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark has been very bullish and aggressive in pursuing outside capital, which would mean millions of dollars for each school in the Big 12. And it's not surprising that Brett Yormark, as he is wont to do, aims to be the first and the trendsetter in such an important space. To say that I was surprised when I got a text pretty late on Friday night that USA Swimming's new CEO, Chrissy Rayak, was withdrawing from the position as president and CEO of USA Swimming is a bit of an understatement. I was quite surprised. She only got appointed to the role less than 3 weeks ago. So what happened that led her to step down and resign after just a couple of weeks? Well, it was reported that Safe Sport received a complaint from years ago that was not previously known, which came from the time that she was an assistant swim coach at Michigan. USA Swimming said the matter was previously not disclosed to USA Swimming during the vetting process. When USA Swimming raised the issue with Rayak, she immediately said she would resign. Perhaps they were feeling the Safe Sport complaint would not come to light. So again, USA Swimming raised the issue with Rayak, and then she immediately decided to step down from the position. So a lot went on this weekend. What's unclear is if she will return as the athletic director at Delaware, but what is not uncertain is that USA Swimming is back to the drawing board looking for a new president and CEO. A couple of quick hitters before we end the Buzzcast. Keep your eye on San Diego FC, as this is proving to be another strong new market for Major League Soccer. The team drew a Snapdragon Stadium record crowd of more than 34,000 for their inaugural home match against St. Louis City on Saturday. The game resulted in a draw. While the attendance numbers were very strong, it was marred by a homophobic chant from the fans during the final minutes of the game, which came after the fans were warned 3 times that the match could be suspended if the chant didn't stop. So that certainly was a blemish to the home opener. The first 30,000 fans on Saturday were handed a scarf to commemorate the occasion. But again, the bottom line, a record crowd, more than 34,000 at Snapdragon Stadium, all coming to see the new team in town, San Diego FC. And finally, we will keep our eye on the reaction and viewership as Fox Sports took over coverage of IndyCar on Sunday with the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. The early reviews have been positive, and remember, Fox has put a lot of promotion behind this. They had early ads with drivers and even Tom Brady, and they were putting a lot of energy into IndyCar. In an interview before the race, Joseph Newgarden thanked Fox Sports for picking up rights to the series and praised Fox for its storytelling ability and stressed there were great stories in IndyCar. We'll look at the numbers. Last year's IndyCar opener on NBC drew 975,000 viewers. Fox will certainly want to top that, but a new day for IndyCar with Fox Sports at the wheel. And so that is your morning Buzzcast for Monday, March 3rd. I'm Abe Madcore. Thanks for listening to the Buzzcast. I will be in New York and Boston the rest of this week. My colleagues will bring you the Buzzcast. I'll speak to you when I return. So stay healthy, be good to each other, and I'll speak to you down the road.